morning, good morning. Anyone there? We'll find out. Not starting quite yet, but all right. Good enough. Good enough for today. All right, volume sounds all right. Don't quite have my beverage of choice ready to go yet. It's brewing, and I'll get that shortly in, but short stream today. Just gonna take a look at, I had this thought of building up and a story that I will intend to share about building one another up. So that's a cool thing, I hope. So we will see what happens here today. All right, so greetings and salutations are in order, I suppose, and we're gonna just kind of get started here. So, well, first one here probably doesn't apply. Destruction of the temple, sign of the end times, build up the building. Wasn't really thinking about building buildings and building those up. More thinking about building people up was what I had in mind. And so, well, hey, Alice, welcome. Thank you for being here this morning. Not my usual day or time, but I will be gone on Friday, so I just thought I'd do one earlier in the week. So welcome in. Thank you for being here, friend. How's your day going? Yeah, happy not Friday. Yep, not Friday, but I'll be on vacation, so I thought I didn't want to go without a stream this week and decided to do it early. Not my regular time, not my regular day, so when I log off, I won't say same bat time, same bat channel. Sleepy day. Well, I'm just getting my day started and woke up a little bit early today. I do that occasionally, and that's all right. I don't mind that. The problem is sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, look at the clock, and go, it's too early to get up. If it's an hour early, not a big deal. 3 hours early, not in favor of that. You didn't wake up today. Okay. Not sure how. So you stayed up from yesterday. Hello, Miss Jellybeans. Thank you for being in here this morning. Not my regular day or time. Oh, you woke up yesterday. Yeah, so, okay, so you have not been to sleep. I'm just looking at building up one another was a thought I had, and look at some scripture, and then I had a story I wanted to talk about with regards to that. So, and that's why you're sleepy. Yeah. Well, my son just switched this week from first shift to third shift. So he's struggling with the shift change and getting that all figured out. First time he's ever done third shift. So I had done it before. I enjoyed it when I did it. However, I don't think I'd want to go back to doing that again. So, but we're going to take a look at building up one another. So the first passage here is 2 Corinthians 10:8. So even if I boast somewhat freely about the authority the Lord gave us for building you up rather than tearing you down, I will not be ashamed of it. So I really kind of like that the authority that is given is for building people up. It's not for tearing them down. I don't know what you've had with authority figures in the past. But at times, I'll just talk in particular in regards to coaching. I just see coaches at times that just belittle and tear down their players. They're not building them up. It just drives me crazy at times that why you would not be more encouraging. You might especially see this on the sidelines of a professional sport where they're just berating a player that made a bad play. I remember, I think it was Barry Sanders, and you probably may not know, not Barry Sanders, but Emmitt Smith. If you don't watch American football, you may not know him. But just talking about, if you walk out on the field being told, don't fumble the ball, don't fumble the ball, what your brain hears is fumble the ball. If you get told walking out on the field, hang on to the ball, your brain hears hang on to the ball, and that's what you do. So the negative aspect sometimes actually feeds into itself and causes you to perhaps do the thing you're hoping to avoid in some way. So that's kind of a strange thing to think about, but I think that's true. And when I was doing cross country coaching, really, I tried to find every avenue I could for encouraging kids, because we started the team from zero. There was no tradition of it, and I wanted them to all know that they were improving. And the funny thing is, you get a kid that starts out running a 10-minute mile, so to speak. There's a lot of improvement that they can make. And if you start out running a 4-minute mile, there's very little improvement you can make. So it was really important at times to celebrate all the improvement that everybody did, whether big or small. And the ones who were the slowest at the beginning of the year could be the ones who made the most improvement over the whole year. And so there was lots to celebrate. The other really cool thing, if you've never been to a cross country versus a track meet of any kind, if you're at a track and the 2 mile is being run, the spectators get annoyed at the person who's in last place that's half a lap or a lap behind. They're just like, why are we waiting for this person? Get them off the field. They just stink. If you're at cross country, they cheer just as loud for the person in last place as they do for the person in first place. And so in that way, they're building them up and encouraging them. And it's not that they're saying you're the best. It's saying you finished the race. And that's a pretty important thing at times. So I did see there was a few comments. Let me look at those. Yeah, real authority figures have tended not to be good. Yeah, at times they take what authority they have and they use it for building themselves up rather than building other people up around them, is what happens from time to time. No idea what you're talking about. Don't think about purple penguins. Okay, I don't know anything about purple penguins, so if you don't know with regards to dropping the football or whatever, that's fine. I knew it was an analogy that might not fully relate to everyone, but I'll read another still here in 2 Corinthians a little bit later in chapter 13, verse 10. This is why I write these things when I was absent, that when I come, I may not have to be harsh in my own, or in my use of authority, the authority that the Lord gave me for building you up, not for tearing you down. So repeating that kind of, the reason that I have authority that I have is for building you up, not for tearing you down. Okay. Well, no, I'm not imagining purple penguins. No, I'm just was picturing the color purple and penguins, but not together. So, no. Yeah, that's one of those things. Don't think about. Yeah, okay. So now maybe I get your point. Now, don't think about, and then you'll think about. Yeah, that's a very true thing. I got what you did there, Alice. Took me a minute. Don't think about. Now that's all you can think about. Yeah. Yeah, that same kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I was trying to allude to. So there's not really a place in Scripture to kind of look at this topic that I wanted to kind of get into and think about today, and that was divine appointments. And that might seem like a strange kind of thought, but I use that term when it's an individual or person that I come into contact with where there was no plan, it was not scheduled, it was unexpected. However, in the middle of that conversation or following that conversation, it's clear that you were supposed to be and meet and talk to that person, whether you knew them before or didn't or anything like that. It's just that what took place in that space and time was so unique, so blessed, so just blessing to you or the other person or both, or something came out of it that was just of God. So I like to refer to those as divine appointments. And so I had one of those on Sunday, and it was just really, really cool. The church that I've been working with has a Black Pentecostal church that meets in their church building after their service. And so upon occasion, I've gone to that service. It's not my tradition, not my style, but I want to support them in some ways, and I want to know what they're up to and what they're doing. So I hadn't been, in several weeks to that service. And so I decided I was going to go this Sunday after I finished with everything I needed to do and was done, and I would go over to theirs and go through their service. And it was mostly a prayer service, and get to the end, and they're going to do announcements at the end of the service. And one gentleman comes up to give an announcement about a turkey giveaway that his charity that he's starting is trying to organize and do in 2 weeks. And he had a meeting the day before with bank and some other people in the neighborhood community organization to try and coordinate some of this stuff. He's telling the story that he's meeting with them, and they're like, so how many turkeys do you have? None. What do you have? Well, we're just trying to get this going. So what are you trying to do? This is what we're trying to do. And so at the end of the meeting, he's still got no turkeys. He's still got, very little money as far as being able to do this. But they're like, okay, we're on board with you. Let's go ahead. Let's do this. So he's got some sponsors now, and he's got some vision for what to do. And he still has no turkeys, no place to store them, none of this other stuff going on. And so I just had this feeling I needed to talk to him on a couple of different levels. One, I've worked with nonprofits. I've worked with an organization that was called Food and More. Sounded very similar to his vision of what he's doing. His whole charity overall, his plan is to help people who are coming out of prison. So it's called Coming Home. And so this is an offshoot of what they're doing. But I knew this Food and More organization, which I'd worked with, and I'm like, I can help you think through and ask some of the questions you need to, some logistical help. I can provide some of that. I also have worked with charities in putting together and writing bylaws, helping them get started. I worked with the food pantry, writing bylaws, putting that together, making sure you've got everything you need for 501c3 status, knowing how to establish a board, doing all these other things. Plus, on the top of that, it's like, I really like this idea. I